용기로 바꿔서 김일 대장, 김정은 대장지를 더 잘 보시겠습니다.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2011, and I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com. Also on YouTube, if you like to visit my channel, it's ddarko2012. And the first article I have up here is Kim Jong-il's death triggers regional alert. The Korean Peninsula was placed on high alert yesterday after the death of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-il tossed the volatile region into a new period of uncertainty. Later, the regime urged North Koreans' 24 million people to, quote, faithfully revere respectable comrade Kim Jong. Amid reports, the country had further tightened controls at the Chinese border to prevent defections, while the passing of the brutal tyrant was lamented by practically no one outside North Korea, created the possibility of fresh instability in one of the most volatile corners of the world. And this is interesting, because I have some news that's going to tie into that, where Chinese troops are actually waiting over there for defectors. So North Korea test fires short-range missiles as a report. This is from the AFP, so take it as truth or propaganda or what have you. North Korea test fired short-range missiles off its east coast on Monday, the same day it announced the death of leader Kim Jong-il, and they've been test firing these missiles for, at least 5 years now. So then we have West poised to exploit potential Korean crisis. U.S. prepared for sudden change in North Korea since 2009. And there's rumors that he was actually murdered, so it would actually play into their hands. It says here the Council on Foreign Relations, a corporate financier-funded think tank that represents the collectivist interests and agenda Wall Street and London, blah, blah, blah. 2009 published an extensive 52-page report titled Preparing for Sudden Change in North Korea. So just as the powers that be have been carrying out regime changes all throughout the Middle East and that, Now they're going to Asia. It says the report covered scenarios for changes in North Korea and included managed, contested, and failed successions. The report makes no secret of U.S. foreign policy towards North Korea and desire to see the nations integrated with the South, nations whose political system has long been co-opted by the United States and kept a watchful eye on by U.S. PACOM's regional presence. And and I have more news to cover on that as well, as far as the South Korean leaders being trained by the CIA, PLA, in other words, puppet regimes. PLA sends soldiers to North Korean border, Human Rights Center. So here you go. Chinese military sent 2,000 soldiers to the border to North Korea shortly after the death of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il, according to Human Rights Center. News sources provided by the center said that they sent these soldiers, main purpose to prevent refugees flooding from across the border. All soldiers came from the 16th Army. Next up, we have South Korea. Military declares emergency alert after Kim Jong-il's death. So they went on there and placed all military units on emergency alert following the news of the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-il. So all links will be posted. This is your first time seeing GGN videos, so go on YouTube's video description. You can see all the headlines and links in order that they are presented. South Korean Unification Ministry staff gets CIA training, so you can go there and check that out. I'm going to keep moving. Got a lot to get to. Sunni leaders arrest order creates new Iraq crisis. So as the flag, the symbolic flag lowers, the U.S. flag, as if we're going to have no ties to Iraq anymore. You have this going on. It says here, Iraq's political crisis took an ominous turn on Monday with the issue of an arrest warrant against Vice President, a leading Sunni Arab figure, for his alleged role in ordering and funding the assassination of Shiite bureaucrats. So I covered an article on Friday about al-Maliki actually basically being a dictator right now in Iraq, and there's a lot of stuff going on in Iraq now. It's not stable at all, and they're leaving it like a time bomb ready to explode, just like Libya. Just like many other places where they've left their footprint, and now all the seeds, well, the seeds have already been planted, and now they're starting to grow. And this guy is a Sunni, which was, of course, what Saddam was. And so now the big thing in Iraq is there will always be a U.S. or a West presence in Iraq for Iraq because of Iran. As far as the oil goes, because it's predominantly Shiite in Iran, and there's still a lot of Shiites in Iraq. So they're always going to have a presence there. Moving on here, we have President back in Pakistan as tensions with army rise. Remember I said that he had a, quote, heart attack. Ooh, a heart attack, just like Kim Jong-il. A tense showdown between Pakistan's powerful army and its besieged civilian government brought President Zardari hurrying back from Dubai early on Monday after weeks of growing concerns by supporters that the military has been moving to strengthen its role in the country's governance. That's right, says pushed by the army. A Pakistani Supreme Court hearing set to begin Monday will investigate whether Zardari's government was behind an unsigned memorandum that surfaced in October asking the Obama regime to help curb the military influence and avert a possible coup in the wake of American raid that allegedly killed Osama bin Laden, who was supposedly dead for 8 years prior to that. So this is a puppet regime in Pakistan right now, and now just like Egypt, where they have a military dictatorship forming, you have the same thing in Pakistan forming. The people are already riled up, like I said before, with the drones and that, and you have all these people protesting, and now you have the people that I thought were going to side with the government. They're not going to side with the government. They're going to side with the military. So this is very interesting, the lines that are being drawn right now. And of course, this is all timing, right? Just like even Kim Jong-il's death. Yeah, you could say what you will about his health. He drank every day, but the fact of the matter is if you're the leader of a dictatorship, you're going to have the best health care ever. And this could just be another way for him to go underground. Basically he's not dead. You know what I'm saying? Or if he is, it's just to create political instability in that region of the world, which is what they want. Pakistan, 30,000, and I'm talking about the think tanks. So when I say they, it's not just some conspiracy theorist, blah, blah, blah. It's Council on Foreign Relations, it's the RAND Corporation, it's the CIA, the NSA, it's all of them. Anyone who has an invested interest in that man going down. Pakistan, 30,000 Islamists protest against the U.S. So see, it's not 30,000 people who have had their families victimized by drone attacks and been murdered by the forces in their country. No, there are 30,000 Islamists rallied against the U.S. in the Pakistani city, demanding Islamabad to cut off ties with Washington. And actually, So it says here, an American think tank claims that it paid $100,000 to Haqqani to write a book which attacks the Pakistani army and the military mosque alliance and its implications for U.S. policies. And then next, we have local Afghan council shuts over U.S. raid. That's right. And that is after U.S.-led forces killed a pregnant woman in a deadly night raid. The NATO Afghan night raids will persist, says U.S.-led forces. Continued nighttime attacks in Afghanistan despite widespread condemnation of raids by the Afghan people and officials. Next up, Obama criticizes Venezuela's ties to Iran and Cuba. In other words, he's saying to sever ties with them. U.S. allies step up Iran embargo talks and talking about discussions on how to maintain stability, right? And you're gonna create stability by putting an embargo on Iran's oil exports, which will then do what? Will force Iran to not threaten, but to close the Strait of Hormuz. So you just go ahead and do that and put all of our lives in jeopardy and risk. It says here, report Iran blinded CIA spy satellite. So European intelligence source claims that Iran stuns West by aiming a laser burst quite accurately at the U.S. satellite. Never before reported incident. U.S. official says here, if Russians provided Iran with sophisticated jamming equipment, it means a lot else is at risk too. Next up. This is the they, so, any trolls or any people that, doubt what I'm saying here, they are these people. U.S. collision with Iran may lead to disastrous war, says a big Brzezinski, and it says here that he says, we think we are going to avoid war by moving towards compulsion, and he says here, but the more you lean towards compulsion, the more choice becomes war. If it does not work, that narrows our options in a very dramatic way, says a former national security official who remains an influential voice on U.S. foreign policy. And you can be sure of that he was given advice. And this is also, I believe, the individual that claimed to help take down communist Russia in Afghanistan by using the Taliban. Pretty interesting. He just goes in here and he basically says, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that. Our public is driven by fear, ignorance, and it's paralyzing, any kind of intelligent decisions. Well, yeah, that's what people are in, like a little pressure cooker right now. And that is not by accident. Or, you got the media, like his daughter that works for MSNBC. They do the thing. The economy's going to crash. We're all going to die. There's no bartering. There's no way out. There's no other way. In reality, it's like Chicken Little. These are the guys that are like, hey, they're whispering in certain people's ears. And they go and they listen to that and they act on that and they're playing them like puppets. So if there is an actual, World War III is already started. Now the physical World War III kicks off. You can be rest assured that these individuals, the Kissingers, the Brzezinskis, all these people, they're going to be underground. The Bushes, they're going to be underground. They're going to have their own water supplies, and we'll be going off the FEMA camps and fighting these stupid wars that they helped create. Next up. Pentagon says Iran concerned primarily with deterring an attack. So a DoD report says to ensure regime survival, Iran's security strategy is based first on deterring an attack. Russian expert, Iran will apparently be attacked from Georgia's territory, another puppet regime, in color revolutions. Russian military posts in Armenia cut. Russian preparing for Iranian invasion, says analyst. And Medvedev on the U.S., if they continue to push us around, we're going to push back. Which is interesting because I think the West are actually pro-Medvedev. He's their guy, a possible clone Tsar Nicholas. Next up, Putin calls color revolutions an instrument for destabilization. Well, he's right. Speaking of intelligence color revolutions, this individual who's ahead of the Czechoslovakia's Velvet Revolution, he died too. So he brought down communism as the other individual, the head of communism, dies. That's kind of interesting. Then Russia sells new batch of fighter jets to India. India's domestic intelligence agency RAW gets power to tap phones and track emails. Next up, pro-Syrian rally faces media black. That was in London, and it was the second time Syrian protesters are asking for people to stop interfering. The Taliban per se is not our enemy per se, says Vice President Biden. Well, he's actually telling the truth. Secret U.S. Taliban talks reach turning point. Then we have Taliban claim downing U.S. chopper. So that's what people who are not enemies don't do, I guess. Next up, we have U.S. trucking funds reach Taliban, so they're paying the Taliban for security protection. Historic visit to Libya by Pentagon Chief Panetta. Meanwhile, Libyan students are actually in fear of going back to their homeland because of what? Because of what his agency, the CIA, and them actually did to their country. And strikes in Libya by NATO talking about killing civilians and destroying of infrastructure will never be talked about.